All right. Hello, everyone. And thank you for taking the time out today during class or throughout your school day to listen to this presentation of pre-administration information about the upcoming SAT and PSAT assessments. So what we're going to do today is run through some information for you in general about the school day, and then also some specifics regarding the digital versions of these tests. So we are doing this because the state of New Hampshire requires that all juniors take standardized testing in reading and writing, math, and science. So in order to meet this need, we use the SAT school day here, and it has an essay portion to it that covers your reading, writing, and math. And then you will take, as a junior, the New Hampshire SAS, which covers the science requirement. Each of those tests that you'll do needs to use the Salem High School Chromebook. So be aware of that you'll need it both for the SAT and New Hampshire SAS when that time comes. And also that CTE laptops and personal devices will not work for those tests. Something else to note is that the PSAT preps you for the SAT. And if you are someone who is going to eventually apply to college and you would like to use the SAT scores from your junior year for the assessment that New Hampshire says you have to take, you are welcome to do so. So taking the SAT as a junior, you will have the essay portion included, which is not typically on the Saturday administrations of the SAT. But when you're a junior and you do the SAT here, you'll have the essay, and you can also use that administration of the exam for college applications or scholarship applications if needed. And again, the PSAT that students take here will also help prepare for that test. So test day overview, test day reminders, and digital testing format. And then we're also going to run through a digital readiness check. So we're going to make sure that the Chromebooks you hopefully have with you today are prepared and ready for test day. That's all that we're going to go through today. All right, to overview the day for you, each grade level, so every grade is going to have a specific thing that they're doing that day. There will likely be some room shifts for you. So you'll start the day in a classroom that's assigned to you for the testing related activities that you're doing. You'll stay there for all of blocks 1 through 3. So the week of the test, we will have postings up around the building so that you can check where it is you need to go. And your advisor will also be able to share that information with you too. So you guys will talk a little bit about it during advisory. And then those will also be posted up around the building for you to do a double check on. You want to make sure that on testing day, you arrive with a charged Chromebook. Your charged school Chromebook will be super important that day. They can hold about 5 hours of battery power once they're fully charged. And you're going to need about 3 hours of testing material covered with your Chromebook that day. Another thing you'll need to know is that you're going to remain in your testing room throughout the entirety of the exam, except for scheduled break times that your proctors will give you. And you'll take lunch after your exam is over. So once your whole class is finished, and once everyone who's doing the same assessment as you is finished, that group will take lunch. So it might not be at the same time that you're typically used to taking lunch. All right, so I'm going to say it a million more times, but it's super important that your school district Chromebook be used for this exam. Bring your charger with you too that day, just in case you need it, even if you think your Chromebook charged overnight, bring your charger with you just in case. You can also bring with you a calculator. There is a Desmos calculator built within the app if you would like to use that, or if you forgot yours, or if you don't really have one in particular that you like to use. Otherwise, you can use the Desmos one, but you can also bring a separate one if you prefer. Bring with you a water and small snack and something to write with. Even though it's a digital exam, there will be some scrap paper provided for you that you can use during the test. All right, so super important that everyone arrives to school on time, because once your testing room gets started and they are into section 1, you cannot be admitted to that room and you cannot take the test that day, and you'd have to take a makeup, which would require you missing school and class time. So we want you there on time at 7:30. Make sure you're in your classroom or your testing room at 7:30. You're going to make sure your Chromebook is charged. Again, bring your charger with you. When you arrive to your testing room, you will also receive a sign-in ticket like you have today, and that will be important for you to access the Blue Book app and get into your actual exam. You will be given breaks during the test. Those will be monitored and timed by the app itself. It'll be running a clock and letting you know when it's time for a break. Important to note that although everyone in your class is testing at the same time, or everyone in the room with you is testing at the same time, you might start your test a minute earlier than a student next to you, or just a couple seconds off from someone else in the room. So even though it's time for your break, there might be another minute or two before everyone in the room is finished. So when your app tells you, okay, it's break time, just make sure you sit quietly until your teacher tells you all that you have all finished and you can get up, leave the room, use the restroom, and all that sort of stuff. So just be mindful of that you might all be on a little bit of different timing. And also very important to note that you will be asked to turn your phones and smartwatches off and put them into your backpack, and then move your backpack away from you during the test. So you will not have access to your phone even during a break. All right, so the digital testing format might be new or different for most of you, but the tools within the Blue Book app that you're going to use on your Chromebook have a Zoom, have a calculator, like I said, and also a graphing reference sheet. There's a hideable test timer. So there's a little clock at the top of your screen, but if you don't like looking at that clock, you can move it or hide it so that you're not looking at it. There's an option eliminator. So most of the test is multiple choice. And if you feel like for one of the questions, you know that A and C are definitely not the answers and you want to cross those out, you can use the option eliminator tool. And then there's also a couple of other tools within the app that we're going to check out today in the test preview option. All right, so at this time, I would say if you don't already have your Chromebook out, I'd ask your teacher to pause this presentation for a second and give you all a chance to grab your Chromebooks out of your backpack, but not log into them. Okay, so once you got your Chromebook out, you can open it up, but again, don't log into it, because what we'll have you do is in the very bottom, there's an apps grid. You'll open that up, and at the very bottom of that list, I believe, is where it's listed. The Blue Book app is what you want to open up. You should get a blue screen, says Blue Book in the top there. And then in the very top right-hand corner, you should see a button that says Test Your Device. You will want to click on that before doing anything else. And then you should get a message, hopefully, that says this device meets the requirements with 3 little green check boxes. If you do not get the green check marks, you'll want to check in with IT and make sure that your Chromebook has received all the updates it needs in order to be ready for test day. If you do have all 3 green check marks, then you are all set and you can click the yellow Done button. So again, you're clicking Test Your Device, looking for the check marks, and then Done if you're all set. All right, so to continue with the digital readiness, what we're going to do is take a second to sign in on the Blue Book page. You're going to click the yellow option that says use a sign-in ticket from your school. So hopefully you have a little copy of your sign-in ticket, which has your user ID and registration number on it. So you'll click use sign-in ticket from your school, and then you'll take the user ID that's listed there, plug that into the user ID section, and then type in the registration number that's listed on your sign-in ticket. You'll also see on the ticket that it lists what test you're taking. It's okay if the ticket says unassigned right now for what classroom you're going into. but you'll use the user ID and registration number both today for this practice round and on test day. All right, once you're able to plug in your user ID and your registration number, you should get a screen that lists, it's a white screen, and it lists the PSAT or SAT that you're taking at the top. It should say Salem High School. If you're someone who's approved for getting any accommodations during your test, you'd see those listed. And then two options that we're going to talk about are the test preview and practice test. So the test preview option is what we're going to check out today if you have some time. You'll click test preview, and then that will give you the chance to practice using the Zoom function. It'll give you the chance to see what it's like to use the Desmos calculator that's incorporated in there, and check out the graphing resources, the annotator, highlighter, all those kinds of things. So if you have a chance today, you can certainly do that. Or if you'd like to log back in or check that out later, you're welcome to do so. The other option that you'll see there is full-length practice test. And that is exactly as it sounds. So if you would like to get a feel for what an exam really feels like, how long it is, what some of the questions are going to be like, you can take the full-length practice test. Okay, so the schedule for testing day. Super important that you arrive on time, have a good breakfast before you come to school, or grab something from the caf. Be in your testing room by 7:30. Between 7:30 and 8, all the proctors are going to assign your seats in the classroom. Make sure you are able to get your Chromebooks up and running. Just kind of take care of business. Have you put your cell phones off and in your backpacks. You can leave your snacks and waters and calculators underneath your desk if needed, but everything else needs to be put away and put in your backpack. And then hopefully all that's taken care of, and by 8 a.m. we're up and rolling with the assessments. You'll, again, also have breaks that are worked into the test for you. You'll do lunch after your test is over, and then everyone will attend block 4. If you are someone who has an internship or a CTE course where you typically travel off-site during blocks 1 through 3, just know that you will not be doing that this day. Block 1 through 3, you're staying in your testing room, doing lunch, and then you'll go to block 4. And to pack with you ahead of time. So again, Chromebook, charger. Make sure that your Chromebook is working, functioning, holds a battery life. Check that out ahead of time. Bring with you a pen or a pencil, again, because we'll have some scrap paper that you can use during the test. Good idea to have with you a photo ID, like your Salem High School school ID, just in case you have a proctor who doesn't recognize you and they're instructed to cross-reference and make sure that they know and everyone is who they say they are in the testing room. Bring a bottle of water and a small snack that you can have at break time. If you have an approved calculator and you want to bring that, you can always check on the College Board website to see which calculators are approved if you want to check that yours is okay to bring, if you'd like to use that instead of the Desmos calculator that's built in. You can bring some independent schoolwork, and that would probably be a good idea because you might have some time around lunch, either before or after lunch, before block 4 begins, that you can do some work. Just know that if you finish the test, finish the SAT or the PSAT, and you are waiting for others to finish the test, you cannot go into your backpack to get extra work. So you just have to wait until your teacher says it's okay, or your proctor says it's okay. All right, so that wraps up most of the essential info for that day, for testing day. If you could, at this point, just do us a favor and use this QR code to scan and let us know that you've completed today's training, gone through everything you need. And there's also an option in there. If you still have a question or something you need some clarity on, you can certainly type that in. But I appreciate your time and attention today. Check in with your counselor if you need anything or have any questions, or Mrs. Burke in the school counseling office, and just let us know that you've completed the training by doing a quick survey from this QR code. Thank you.